Hey everybody, it's Brian Shannon from AlphaTrends.net. Today is Friday, the 1st of November, and we had a great week for equities. Oil was down a little bit, as were the oil stocks, and of course, volatility index dropped. We are now up 22.5% for the S&P 500 and close to 50% for the semiconductors. So let's take a look at the charts. It's kind of redundant here. We're in an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. Where it stops is anyone's guess. The point is we're in an uptrend. We're not trying to pick tops. We're trying to participate in a trend. And when we have an established trend, we consider it innocent until proven guilty for the time frame you're participating in. If you're a day trader, you were bullish. You had to be bullish today in terms of the S&P 500 as it was higher all day. As far as the intermediate term, we continue to stay above a rising 5-day moving average on a closing basis, and it is innocent until proven guilty. There's no other way to look at it. Some people will say we're up too much or that some kind of projection has been hit, but there's nothing that tells us where the top is. As they say, no one rings a bell at the top. So what I try to focus on in this environment is to stay positioned in the low risk, high probability individual stock trades. NASDAQ up at a new all-time high, as is the semiconductors, which again are up over 50% year to date. Look at that monthly chart, just an amazing trend. Of course, we can't just be complacent though. Whatever your time frame is, risk management is always job number one. Even the Russell 2000 is approaching the highs that it made, pretty much earlier this year, and it's had a big run. Will it become resistance once again? I don't know. I'm not going to sell short against it. What we do is we continue to give the benefit of the doubt to the buyers with a rising 5-day moving average. When it starts closing below the 5-day moving average and the 5-day moving average rolls over, we get more defensive on the intermediate term and we see what happens. We don't call a top. That's just foolish. Let's take a look at some individual stocks because, I was on Yahoo Finance yesterday talking about Facebook. A couple of things about Facebook that really strike me that it's ready to move higher once again is, one, the volume weighted average price off of the all-time high. Look at how we held above that as far as support over here. And then if we look at the volume weighted average price from the December low, we hit support right here. That's also where we see that rising 200-day moving average. Now we're above a rising 20 and 50-day moving average. We had a catalyst this week. We got above this band of resistance. The volume weighted average price off of the peak this year has held as support as well. So when we look down to a 30-minute time frame, here's the volume weighted average price from, let's actually look at that on a 10-minute time frame, from the earnings 2 days ago. Well, what happened? We came right down to the 5-day moving average, and I think that for Monday, if the stock can pull back just a little bit, maybe create a higher low and then get back above today's high, then you would want to purchase it on that breakout. The reason I'd like to see a pullback first is that it would give us a higher low to put our stop under rather than put it way down here. But again, whatever your time frame is. I also mentioned Nike. Now, I said that Nike, if it's to bounce, this is the area for it to bounce in. If you follow me at all, you know that I consider the stock is innocent until proven guilty with a rising 50-day moving average. But you'll also know that I don't consider it a purchase yet because we're below a declining 5-day moving average. This is what I had outlined for subscribers last night, saying here's what I think is most likely, that we would like to see it rally up towards that 5-day moving average, create a higher low, another higher low, and then get going. Well, the stock just pulled back and closed near the low today. So I still like to have this on my list for a potential trade next week. But the potential scenario that I'm outlining would look more like this. And then that 5-day moving average flattens out. We get above this peak, and then we could purchase it, let's say, over here with a stop underneath this level. This is the analysis I do every single day for subscribers to Alpha Trends. I don't know if you've visited alphatrends.net, but I run this premium product where I put specific stock ideas each and every day. It's $7.99 for a year. I'm running a sale on it. I do that once or twice a year. I'm running a sale now for $5.99, and come take a look. We have interactive webinars every 2 weeks, and we talk about ideas that look poised from a low risk, high probability entry point. Stocks like ISRG will have our eye on next week. This one just broke beyond some resistance. You can see it's holding that resistance as support on that weekly time frame and on the daily time frame. Well, where are we in relation to the volume weighted average price from the highest point ever paid? We're above that. What about on the 30-minute time frame from this event? Well, you can see that we're back above that, and what we need to see now is a rising 5-day higher high above this rising 5-day moving average. So I'll be anticipating and looking for a place to trade this stock next week. I've got my eye on TERP, and this is something I'll be, I lay out the specifics each and every day for subscribers. TERP has been a massive winner. The earnings, though, are due November 14th. That's something we always keep an eye on. That's why it's always on the screen there. But from the peak, the volume weighted average price, you can see that it's held as resistance a couple times. We've got that rising 5-day moving average, and I'm thinking maybe above this 1709 level with a stop underneath today's low would be a good entry for a swing trade. And a swing trade would get us, possibly to move, up towards 17 and a half, 3/4, 18 before the earnings are released. So again, risk management is always job number one. We got involved in PGNY today because this recent IPO was showing some strength, and here you can see what a nice trade that was. So I use multiple time frames, common sense, volume weighted average price, 5-day moving average, and each and every day, again, I lay out these ideas. If you haven't taken a look, come take a look. alphatrends.net. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good weekend.